you are not alone. Even if you are not caring physically for your loved one, if you care about them, it's affecting you and you're a caregiver. We're here to help in any way we can.
Today we have Joann Clemo, the Executive Director of Dementia Support Northwest, and we're going to talk about the implications of coronavirus on this population.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
So Joann, obviously you're dealing with a really high-risk population of adults, and tell us a little bit about what you've seen over the last 6-8 weeks and how your programs have had to adapt to this new challenge.
So we were actually one of the first ones to kind of close down our physical office and switch everything over to a virtual platform. We could not risk having people coming into our conference room together. There's always kind of an issue with getting people that have cognitive decline to be compliant with the new safety issues. So that's a challenge that a lot of people that are working with this population are dealt with right now, trying to keep people safe that forget that they need to try to keep everyone safe. So we switched over virtually right away. And so we're offering our caregiver support groups, our staying connected classes for those with memory loss, and we're also doing daily check-ins over Zoom. So every day, Monday through Friday, people can come on and get support from us. We're also offering just individual meetings. So if people need to call and ask questions, obviously we're talking to people on the phone, but sometimes that face-to-face is really big.
How has the adoption of technology with this whole thing been with this population? I mean, typically these are people that are in their 70s, 80s, 90s.
It's been really inspiring to see. I was a little hesitant to see if this was going to work. There's a lot of research around just people with memory loss in general using technology. It can be really overwhelming, overstimulating, confusing. So it's been a real treat to see everybody being able to adapt to a virtual platform. Our staying connected classes, everyone just loves to see each other. There was some reluctancy to figure out how to use that platform. But within 2 weeks, everybody was so desperate for that interaction and that support. They all figured it out. And now they're helping each other out. I'm not even really helping anyone with the tech side of this. They're calling each other, getting each other on Zoom and showing them how to sign in and do things. So it's been great. It's, a new form of cognitive fitness, really, for them to learn this.
So what are some things that people can do to support people with dementia and other memory impairments during this time?
Reaching out and talking to them. Again, the audio is huge, getting to hear their voice. Even if they're not really sure who they're talking to, that interaction, that social interaction is huge. That's one of the biggest things that somebody with a memory loss suffers, is the social interaction, because there's just a natural withdrawal once things start happening. So reaching out, music is always a very universal way to communicate with somebody. So the music that a person listened to in their teens is something that will really speak to them now. So we're doing virtual dance parties every Friday, and we're going through the decades. So the 40s is this coming week. So we're trying to encourage people to, meet their family at the dance and have the grandkids come on and, have the neighbor come, and, it's over Zoom so everybody can see each other. Reaching out to people, lowering your expectations is a big thing. A lot of people are trying to keep so incredibly active. And you know what? This is not a normal time. So normal expectations just have to go out the window right now. Really checking in on the caregivers is a huge thing. They're so taxed right now, emotionally and physically. They can't come and bring their person to our office for 2 hours for a staying connected meeting so they can get some time to themselves and to go do some errands. And, they love their loved ones, but they're doing a job that people would normally, have to take a break every 15 minutes or go home after 6 hours legally. And they're doing that job 24/7 for like 7 weeks now. So checking in on the caregivers as well is huge.
How are you supporting caregivers during this time? Are there resources that you have for them or ways that you're trying to support the caregivers themselves?
So we've been very creative And we did a yoga for caregivers that we taped live out in the tulips at Tulip Town. And we've done a few concerts. We're trying to find ways that caregivers can find things to do that does also involve their person if they're home with them. Trying to give caregivers resources where they have to be away from their loved one at home isn't super helpful at the moment. So trying to find things they can do together. We're actually getting some care boxes put together to go deliver to some of our clients that just has some pick me ups in it and things to do together. And again, the caregiver support groups are huge because they're able to talk to each other and see what's working for them at home and what might work for them and what hasn't worked. And that peer support with the educational base that we provide is a lifeline for a lot of them.
How can people learn more about how to provide good care to people that they love or support for themselves if they are a caregiver?
So they can go to our website, dementiasupportnw.org. And if you go to the resource tab, there's literature on there. There's also a lot of videos of the things that we have been doing to provide new creative resources and things for both caregivers and the person experiencing the memory loss. And they can always give us a call. We are still tracking, the phone at our office and our email. So sometimes people want to just take that literature and read it by themselves. And sometimes people need that one-on-one conversation. And we are very available to do either of those to provide that for people.
And your organization also partners with a number of other organizations in town. What has that partnership been like in the last couple of weeks, and how have you been able to work together with some of these other players in town to support this population?
So as a nonprofit, we are limited in, our funding and things like that. So we've had organizations reach out to us wanting to help. So for example, Silverado Memory Care has helped us get some things to put together in those caregiver boxes that we had talked about a few minutes ago. And they're including the residents in our virtual dance parties. The Bellingham at Orchard has been great with communicating with us about caregivers who have their loved ones as residents there to make sure that everyone's being contacted and getting that connection with each other. And it's just great to see a lot of the organizations really just giving us shout outs on social media and spreading the word because there's so many people who need our services that don't know about us yet. So letting people know that we're here and what we do is huge. And we're trying to recognize those organizations as well, because right now we're all, kind of dealing with the same struggles, and trying to support local and small is necessary for everybody.
So, Joann, what are some other programs or things that you've been experimenting with to help out during this time?
So we actually launched a youth dementia education program called Yana Youth Champion. So Yana is kind of our mantra, you are not alone. And we experienced a lot of phone calls right when the kids started having to stay home from school, because there's a lot of sandwich caregivers right now who are, people that have kids at school age, but they've also just moved their parents in, or they're actively caring for their parents, and trying to figure out how to explain that to their kids and kind of keep the peace at home was turning into a challenge very quickly. So we did a read along of a book that explains the brain, and then I used my own children to kind of talk things over. And we've gotten really great feedback on that. People have been able to explain things to their kids, but also learn a lot on their own. So I urge everybody to look into that. If you've got grandkids or neighbors or really anyone, it's fostering a more compassionate attitude towards our aging population in general.
If you could leave someone with one thing that you'd like them to take away from this conversation, what would that be?
We often see people reaching out to us a little late in the game because they don't think they need the help yet, and they're not ready to face it sometimes themselves. But I really encourage people to reach out to us before they think they need to. The minute you start noticing something going on with your loved one, or the minute your doctor tells you that there is some kind of cognitive decline, reach out to us, visit our website, get the information, because it's helpful to be prepared for various reasons. And just know that we're here. You are not alone. Even if you are not caring physically for your loved one, if you care about them, it's affecting you and you're a caregiver. So I just want people to know that we're here to help in any way we can.
Well, Joann, thank you so much for being a part of this today and for all the work that you are doing in the community to support this population and people who in this time of isolation really need that extra support. And whether you're the person dealing with the dementia itself or the caregivers. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.